Hey guys, it is Saturday here on Pagan Perspective. I am your Saturday host Brendan, and this week we are talking about sound and music in our personal practice. So our question this week comes from our sub-host Danny, as well as a question from Angel Rose, who's one of our viewers. So Danny asks, how do we use music in our practice, i.e. what music do we use? Do we play any instruments? What sounds do we hear when practicing outside? Mashup videos, maybe. And then Angel Rose is, I'm interested in the use of music, sound, and ritual. As a musician myself, I find sound very important for getting energy going, but I'm curious what of other views on the matter. So this week, sound and music. For me personally, the instruments that I use most of the time, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm doing cleansing or healing rites, I tend to use a singing bowl, and I also have a clearing bell that's used for opening chakras and moving energy. And then I also, kind of linking into there and then moving into like trance work, I have a frame drum as well, a Remo synthetic skin frame drum. Which is perfect for me who lives in Queensland, which is a subtropical climate and it's always humid, so having a synthetic skin drum means that I always get a perfect note, even when the weather is horribly humid, and normal animal skins would be very damp and would produce dull sounds. And then for energy drumming and just general dance drumming, I have a djembe, which also has a synthetic skin on there, yet again for the same reason. Also makes it easier to travel. So somewhere between drums, singing bowls, and bells is where a lot of my stuff is. And I'm also looking at one day, hopefully with more teaching money, which is what purchased my first 2 drums, would be that I purchase a gas song drum or a moyo drum, which are made from old gas cylinders that they turn into either pentatonic or other different note setups that use like little sticks to play with and can just be hypnotic and beautiful, and is great for soundscaping and healing work and just general trance work. So that's the instrument component of the questions there. General music and song and ritual work, I use a lot of chants, being from the reclaiming tradition and the Waba tradition. A lot of our brethren write chants, or there's a member of the reclaiming community, Alphonsus Mooney, who turns Rumi poetry into chants. And I believe they also turned the Leonard Cohen song into a chant, which is beautiful. And then people like G'day Palmer, who writes a lot of chants and is part of the Waba tradition and reclaiming. People like Raven Stanfield, Suzanne Sterling, Starhawk. Trying to think who else. Then there's like Australian artists like Spiral Dance and Wendy Rule, who's now, I believe, living in Portland in the US, but she's amazing as well. So I tend to use a lot of like music from all those artists and chants from those artists, as well as a plethora of other artists as well. It's not really a skill set that I have with writing chants, but I've helped produce and replicate chants, so if they have like a basic format, I can easily rewrite them and rework them into different pieces. Like Kara said in her Tuesday video, I haven't yet done a ritual with all Florence and the Machine songs, but I hope to. But my old coven back in Sydney, we did a whole entire ritual for, I think it was called Lunasa the Musical, and we did all the elemental invocations with different songs. I was calling air, so I was singing Walking on the Air by Nightwish, which was beautiful and wonderful, and I had like my coven brother was singing this crazy manic fire song for fire, and just like trippy water. I think it was either trying to think what the water song was. It was beautiful anyway, and we did like invocations with that, circle casting with songs, all of that. So incorporating all of that into the practice. I've also done, led by a friend, Gabrielle Cleary from the Applegrove Coven in New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. She has a technique of doing silent ritual, and she actually beforehand leads about a half hour run through workshop, ritual conspiracy sort of thing, where we learn the gestures and the process of the ritual, and once we get there, the whole entire thing is silent, and it's all just done through gestures and body language, and is amazing and intense. And for me, most of my time, like my devotional work and rituals, is minimal words, or it'll just be sounds, tends to go primal often. Might include some intoning, or just a howl or a scream sometimes. Most of the public ritual work I do, we play with energy via sound, so using drums, using body percussion, using whatever we can find around us. We've used like water bottles, like those steel reusable bottles. If you get one of those and tap a pen on there, you can get a pretty good beat going. Also just percussion on anything around us generally. If we don't have instruments, because most of us will bring drums or bells or some sort of instrument. So it does help shift the consciousness from one state of being to another. So that's why I'm trying to learn to do proper trance drumming where I can do that, and be able to induct people into a trance, lead them through it, and then change the beat to be able to bring them back out of the trance, and learning all of that. And then the same with energy drumming and just general dance drumming, learning slower beats that can shift into faster beats that can then help maintain and work energy to cone, to spiral, to really whip it up and shape it and form it, and using that beating and toning to create the cone, the spiral, the whatever the energetic image is that we're working with. And then that silence with the release that happens, and you just hear the huffing and the puffing of everyone that's been chanting and singing and drumming and dancing and just all of that. So I guess for me, music and sound is an important part of my practice, and I like to sing where possible, and I often sing to plants or to myself, and find it emotionally shifts my mental state and well-being. So that's always good, and getting back into that, and just singing in the shower and singing at work when songs that I like come on, and just incorporating music and that back into my practice, and really just looking at songs that are outside the pagan sphere that incorporate really talking about goddesses and gods, and like Lady Gaga's I'm trying to think which album it is, but she speaks of Aphrodite and Eros and Venus and all of that sort of stuff. So very much that love deity sort of devotionals, and as much as I hate to say it, like looking at Katy Perry's Dark Horse video clip, that's really much about Egyptian gods and Cleopatra and Isis and all of that. And then really just trying to think of others, like just listening to any Florence and the Machine songs. So many of them can have mythological experiences within them. So even listening to that, a technique that a friend of mine did well over a decade for me now would be just played pure instrumentals, and we did dropped in synced trance work. We put the headphones on us, we close our eyes and just go into trance and allow the music to journey for us. So that was a wonderful kind of exploration that happened. The track that I had went for I think 6 or 7 minutes, and it had that nice beautiful transition in, beautiful transition out, and felt like the whole thing went for 1,000 years sort of thing. And come out and they're your breathing changed, and it was getting rapid, you start to sweat and all this stuff, and then you calm down, and it was just going through and telling them what happened. It's yep, intense experience. So that's possibly somewhere else to explore. Just toning and learning breath control and work with that. So really just being able to hold your breath and hold a note with that, and being able to just regulate your breathing. All those things we learned by grounding and centering can be then used and put into singing and vocal work and all of that. And I've probably blabbed on for like good 10 minutes now about this, but it's a beautiful topic, and I thank both Danni and Angel Rose for this topic, and I hope you got something out of this video and the videos for the rest of this week that have come up. And yeah, I think that's it for this week. So much love and blessings, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Mwah!